Welcome to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprofit.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome, everyone, to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and today we're talking Week 12 waiver wire. Not a great waiver wire at all. So I'm looking for names, and we're still watching the Sunday Night Football game. We're recording this a little bit early, and Najee Harris scores a touchdown, and I have him on my fantasy teams. It should be a good, joyous moment. But also, Jeff, I had an eight-player parlay on DraftKings that they all had to score touchdowns. I bet $1 to win $155. I needed 8 players to score touchdowns. 7 hit.
Who didn't get one?
DK Metcalf. He is dead to me. Dead to me. I'm actually just very upset right now. I was almost hoping Najee didn't do it. $155 off $1. Freaking DK. Come on, DK. Stop being terrible. All right. Back to waiver wire, though. That was more probably interesting than this.
Speaking of terrible.
Yeah, that's where we're at. That's where we're at, Jeff. Waiver wire. It's just not been a great waiver wire for a while. I mean, there's been some, I don't want to say that because there has been some good pickups, but it wasn't like, it didn't like hit you in the face. Maybe that week it was there. It's been one of these like slow burn type things where the guy's been there and you pick him up early. Like actually this top guy right here, which I guess is a good one if he's out there, Elijah Moore. He still makes our list. So typically on our list here, we go people that are owning 40% of ESPN leagues or less. Elijah Moore is at 40.7. So we're gonna make him part of the list here because he's by far the best option. He's 4 touchdowns in his past 3 games. He's the number 1 receiver there on the Jets now. It doesn't really matter who's throwing the ball. They're all now looking for him. Flacco, Mike White. Hopefully when Zach Wilson comes back, he'll do the same. But Elijah Moore is really starting to come on here and showing the talent that we liked at the beginning of the season. I know, Jeff, you were a big fan of Elijah Moore going into the season. You had him on the team that we have in our main league. I do have him now, which is great. So I feel good about that. But 8 for 141 and touchdown this past week, 3 for 44 and touchdown the week before, 7 for 84 and 2 touchdowns the week before that. And even before that, we had started talking about him because he had an 6 for 66 on 6 targets. And even the week before, he had a 1 for 13, but it was on 6 targets. So the targets have been the biggest key here. 6, 6, 8, 6, 11. He keeps getting targets. He's getting looks. They're trying to get him the ball. They even gave him a carry in this past game, just trying to get Elijah Moore the ball. And it's working. And if he's out there in your league, go pick him up. You could probably use him. So I go get him.
Yeah, without a doubt. It is slim pickings too. We're not going to go over a ton of names. So if he is out here or any of the names are out here, those are going to be the guys you want to go after. And he's going to catch a lot of attention now. The only saving grace is the fact he's on the Jets. Yep. So not everyone is going to believe that they can trust him. It's probably true, but right now he is trending in the right direction. And the guy is very, very talented as far as a wide receiver goes, so not only is he putting up numbers, but I think it's real. I don't think this is just, game plan or something of that nature. I think that he is going to be a good wide receiver in this league.
And so, one other name that's slightly above this 40% mark at 42%, another receiver. We're recording this before Monday Night Football, so maybe he plays well, maybe he doesn't. Kadarius Toney is still very interesting to me. He showed that talent earlier in the year. I don't understand what the Giants are doing, not getting in the ball, because this guy is legitimately good. You don't play like he did in that game against Dallas, where they were just throwing him the ball all the time. If you're not good, maybe he's not 100% healthy or something. Because even the next game against the Rams, after the big game, he had those 3 catches for 36 yards, like right away on the first drive of that game before he got hurt. And since he got hurt, it hasn't been the same. I'm really hoping they go back to looking for him again here. We'll see what happens Monday night and then going forward. But Kadarius Toney, if he's available in your league, those are the guys. Those are the kind of players that I'd want to get and take a chance on. There's really not, a lot else. So it's those 2 for sure. Other than that, it gets kind of ugly. One of the other names I'll put at the top is Cam Newton at quarterback. Cam Newton, he's played very well. His first full start, he gets 3 touchdowns. The game he didn't even barely play much, he had 2 touchdowns. Why not Cam Newton? If you've been playing like, okay, would you rather take a chance on Cam Newton right now than Ryan Tannehill? I kind of feel like I would, yeah, right?
Yeah, he's about to go against Miami, and then he has a bye, and then Atlanta. I do like his odds right now of doing well, and he's doing exactly what you hope he would do, right? He's passing that test as far as how are they going to use him, and right now they use him a little bit to scramble, and then a little bit to dump it off to McCaffrey. Right there, he can get you a lot of points. Anything else is just frosting on the cake, right? So I do like the situation he's in. And I like the way he came out firing. I think that he's ready to play. He wants to prove something, which is great to see. So, yeah, absolutely. I think he is a better play than a lot of these guys that are outside the top 12 or so.
Yep. We're really reaching here today, Jeff.
I know.
So at running back, there's not a lot of names. So one of the names you can throw, it depends on the injury situation with Michael Carter. If he's hurt, you could, if you're desperate, go after like a Ty Johnson. I don't think I'd truly, to be honest, want to play a Jets running back if Michael Carter's not there. Because Michael Carter, I think, is by far the best of the bunch, and he became a stretch sometimes. Like he was doing a lot with what he could. So Ty Johnson, though, would be an option there if you're really desperate. And if you become even more desperate, an interesting player from this past week was Dontrell Hilliard from Tennessee. It was interesting. I mean, maybe they were down. They passed the ball to him a lot. They started running him a little bit, but Peterson and Foreman aren't really doing much, to be honest. They're just not. Foreman had his opportunity, didn't really do anything with it. So maybe Hilliard gets a shot, but I wouldn't want to go throw him in the lineup next week. But yeah, it's slim pickings. That's for sure. So I don't know if you have any other running backs, Jeff. I don't.
I mean,
no, I don't think
so. No, it's a tough one. This is just not the week to pick up a lot of players. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you.
It's just not. Maybe Latavius Murray. He didn't play that great against Chicago, but he had 10 carries. Yeah, that's about what you're looking at right now.
Yeah,
it's ugly. All right, at wide receiver, Jordan Howard, probably not. But I guess unless you're at Miles Sanders zone, I don't know. No. Never mind. It's all terrible. It's all bad. All right. How about wide receiver? If there's any others, we talked about Moore. We talked about Tony. Rondale Moore had 11 catches this past week. It was all very short passes trying to get him out in space, and it didn't really happen. He turned it into 51 yards. If you're chasing some kind of targets, maybe, but with Kyler, it's probably going to be a different story. It might not be the same game plan. So
yeah, I was looking at the same thing. If you were in a PPR, I was like, maybe he'd be a sneaky one, but the 11 is such an outlier right now that it doesn't make any sense with the other games he's been playing.
It really doesn't. It's one of those more of like, keep an eye on it. If you have an extra bench spot that you're literally doing nothing with, and you just want to hey, I'll throw him way at the end of the bench and maybe something happens. That's the kind of that's how you'd pick him up. It's just a pick him up to wait and see if you don't need a spot. If you get rid of some other bad player, I guess. And then at tight end, not much here either. Maybe you keep looking for the next guy, maybe at tight end that might do something, right? Because so many of them don't. I guess if you're trying to find the next guy, maybe Adam Troutman. That's an interesting name. He got a touchdown this past week. We liked him at the beginning of the season. It didn't really happen. But what I like from Adam Troutman is targets. Over the last 4 weeks, he had 8 targets this past week, 6 the week before, 7 the week before that, 6 the week before that. This is the first time he turned it into anything. So targets are there, but I just said last week about targets, it was Dan Arnold, right? And targets, and then it turned into 0 targets. So maybe chasing targets isn't the way to go. But Adam Troutman, he's been getting decent amount of targets over these last 4 weeks. So, hey, worth a look, right?
Yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. I think the only other person on here is just because he has touchdown upside, maybe Evan Ingram if you're in a real pinch. I don't really like it, but he's had two touchdowns coming into his bye, and then well, we'll see how he does. Once again, we're talking about this before they actually get to play the game, but if he has another decent game or just 5 targets or more, he turns into a guy.
All right. Streaming defenses. See if I can find you one here. There is one for sure. It's the Bears playing against the Lions, right? You can go with that one. That's probably the number one option, because if you go 50% and under teams here, you got the Broncos playing against the Chargers. Don't really love that. It could be good. It could be. I'm not saying it's like Broncos have been a good defense at times. Chargers have been good offense, but they've also had bad weeks. It's not, but you just don't know. It's kind of like you're just flipping a coin. Which way does it go, right? Packers against the Rams. Don't really love that. Washington against Seattle, with the way Seattle's playing, maybe, right?
Yeah, I don't hate that.
Nope.
They're not a huge point getter, but I think it would be relatively safe.
Yep. Vikings playing against San Francisco, probably not. Bengals against Pittsburgh. That's not the worst either. You know, it's one of those. It's a mediocre option. It's you could go worse. Raiders against the Cowboys, probably not doing that. Eagles against the Giants. That's more interesting, I guess. But the Bears against the Lions for sure. Falcons play Jacksonville. Falcons haven't been good at all, but Jacksonville's also not good. So it depends on how desperate you get, right? Then Seahawks playing Washington, the Jets playing Houston. I don't know. There's just not, it's a lot of just mediocreness here. You really want to go get the Bears playing against the Lions, honestly. That's what you want to try to do. Just not great. Sorry, everybody. It's just not a good week here.
It's a bad waiver week.
What it is.
We can't do anything about it.
It is what it is. All right. Streaming quarterback. We talked about Cam Newton. He's definitely the option, right? He's playing against Miami. If you go get Cam Newton, that's who you want to get. Matt Ryan is playing against Jacksonville. We just saw him get shut out against the Patriots, but that's not Jacksonville's not that, right? So Matt Ryan, you could take that chance. Yeah, maybe. You want Cam though. Mac Jones, he's been leading the Patriots to good records, but it's not necessarily fantasy production wise. He's playing against Tennessee. Yeah. Don't love that. Justin Fields. If Justin Fields hadn't been hurt playing against the Lions, you'd feel really good about that. But now he's hurt. We don't know what's going to be. If it's Andy Dalton, would you consider Andy Dalton against the Lions?
Yeah, I would. I think anyone playing against the Lions,
whichever one it is,
I'd probably be okay with it after Cam.
Yep, Cam for sure. So Cam is be up there, maybe a Bears quarterback. And then how about like Taylor Heineke against Seattle?
Yeah, I like that one. I think that's a good one.
Tyrod against the Jets?
I was going to say, if you're getting more desperate, how do you feel about Tyrod? Because in my head, I'm thinking it's not a huge ceiling, but maybe it would be relatively safe.
It's not, I'd play him before I played like Garoppolo, obviously, or Roethlisberger. I'd probably, I'd play him ahead of Teddy Bridgewater. There's something like Daniel Jones. I'd probably just go Tyrod over those guys.
Well, the one other guy I want to bring up is Trevor Simeon.
I can't do it.
He's not a name, I realize, but he has been getting better and better. And even though they're losing, I mean, he's improved in every single game. They're going against Buffalo, which I hate, but Buffalo did not look all that impressive today. You still would hold back from that, even if you're in a bind. Go with one of the other guys first.
Yeah, I can't do it. Yeah. I can't do it. No, can't do it. But all right. Yeah. You know what? I keep waiting. At some point, this happens every year. We get these we get these random running backs that end up being like on championship rosters, right? Those guys haven't happened yet. They're going to happen, Jeff. They're going to happen. I'm telling you. We don't know who they are yet. They're going to happen. So just stay tuned. Don't give up hope. There'll be a waiver wire player left to get. But all right, that'll do it for today. Talk to you guys next time.